GDC is happening right now, or it just happened and it just ended, or something like that. I don't know. It's like half a day behind me because it's in the U.S., so I don't really know exactly the times. But the main things, like the awards that they give out, the main event, I guess, or whatever, was yesterday, I think. It's a convention. There's a couple of days and there's a ton of things happening and there's a ton of different. There's like the award show and there's a ton of things basically. There's a ton of things, but it just happened and it's always very interesting for me. Out of all the events that are throughout the year for the industry for the making games industry, GDC is probably the most interesting one. Yes, there's also E3, and usually the biggest amount of news comes out of E3 because E3 is actually for the masses, more so than GDC. GDC is you can't get in unless you're in the industry. I mean, it's not exactly difficult to get in, even if you're not part of the industry. I know people who have gotten in because of reasons or connections or whatever, but you're supposed to be part of the industry in order to get into GDC, and E3 is a little bit that's also true for that, but it's also a little bit more lenient. And then there's also Gamescom, which is completely open to the public, and I actually went to Gamescom a couple of years ago, and I had a blast. I was actually pressed for that event, which means that I got in a day early than the masses, which is phenomenal because I got to see pretty much everything that the show had to offer on the first day because there were no lines and there was just nothing. There were like, I don't know, maybe 10,000 people out of the 300,000 people. Yes, that's the amount of people that actually attend Gamescom every year, which is massive. It is mind-boggling the amount of people that were in there after the first day. The first day was kind of like, oh my god, this place is half empty. It's not half empty. It's very empty and it's pretty good. There's people, but it's really nice. And then it just gets blasted by people. Masses and masses and scores of people. It was terrifying. And pretty cool, but also terrifying. If you get lost, you're dead. But basically, Gamescom was really, really wonderful. But that's the only big industry event that I've ever gone to. I mean, it's kind of hard to get to GDC for me. I'm a member of the industry in that sense. I could totally get in. I could totally get in. That's fine. But just getting there for me is not easy because I'm so far away. So I really want to go, and I will one day. I'll definitely go to GDC, hopefully multiple times. And I've heard a lot of things about it because I've been in the industry for quite a while now, or some amount of time maybe, or at least I've been following the industry. And I know people that are in there, and I know people that have went and that are going this year, for example. And it's always really interesting. There's always a lot of news coming out of it, and there's a lot of different types of experiences. I've heard people who say that the events. There's so much going on. I mean, there's a lot of talks as well. I mean, it's not specifically in the GDC because they do so many things. There's so many events, but this is like the main one. There's so many talks and so many people showing on the show floor, and there's so much. There's just so much of it, and I want to go. I want to go to this event because it's an event. It's one of the prime events for the industry that I'm part of, that I want to continue being part of. And I think that's really important to try and strive and go to these places and meet new people and make connections. It's always about the connections, but it's just fun. I mean, that's one of the things that's interesting about my stay at Gamescom, because I went there, I was press and I had some work to do, but not a ton. Mostly it was fun. I mean, I managed to get pressed. Let's not get into that story, but I managed to get pressed. I said I'll help a little bit, and I did my job. I think everybody came out happy from that, but I was there for fun. I wasn't there as part of the industry. I wasn't there to make connections too much, or criticize, or make deals, or go to the business section, which I could get to because, again, I was press. I was there to have fun, and I had fun. Because on top of being a developer, on top of being part of the industry on the game making side, I'm a consumer as well. I play games. I love games. And there are people, which weirds me out to this day, but I've learned that there are actually people who are in this industry not out of the immense passion that I have for games, but it's just a job. I make games. I don't play them, but I make games. That is so weird to me. It is still incredibly weird to me, because I see games as something that's so incredibly passionate. There's a lot of people who work at things that they're not passionate about, and that makes sense to me in a lot of different fields. But in the field of games, I'm still wrapping my head around people who are in this industry, but just because it's a job. And it's weird. And when I go, I fangirl over things. I'm not really. I'm not actually I'm not a fan of being a fangirl or a fanboy, whatever. It's regardless of gender. I'm not a fan of being a fan. I don't like, liking something just for the sake of liking it and refusing criticism. I don't like that at all. But I love games. I love games. I think they're the best medium, and I think they're the best art form. I think they're the best, period. And it's just something that I kind of want to go less as a job, less as part. I don't want my company, whatever it may be, I don't want my company to send me, to GDC to show off the game that we're making and stuff like that. I want to go to have fun. I want to go to meet people and to see games and to just enjoy myself. And I think that's really important in whatever it is that you do, to remember why you're in there. If you're just in there because it makes you money, then I don't think you should be there. I mean, I'm not going to get into whatever person's circumstances is their circumstances, but for me, it's my passion, I want to be there. And I think it's important to remember why you're there and to nurture that passion, because if you ignore it, then it dies out and you have to keep fueling it. And that's to me, it's just sometimes having just fun. Just having fun, That's kind of why people are on Earth. No, that came out really badly. That's why we're here. We're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy ourselves and to have a life and to have as rich a life as possible. And for me, it's games. For you, it's whatever it is. Probably also games if you're listening to me babbling about games. That would make sense. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.